Have I been delinquent in creating video footage of everything I'm doing? Yes, I have. Have I been in a mad rush to try and get this costume done to where it looks halfway like it is a finished costume in time for Halloween? Yes, I have. I had a test run last night. Things were falling off before I even walked out the door. So I'm going to reinforce some things just so everything works. I did have to abandon some ideas, shortcut some things just to get it done. I'm ready to be done with it, but I at least want it wearable for the events I'm going to, because like I said, last night was a test run. I learned some valuable things. Basically what I'm doing is just reinforcing. So I'm going to walk through all the pieces of the costumes. It's basically done. Not much more is going to happen. It's all going to be behind the scenes. This is the grand finale, the big conclusion. Everything I've made, brief rundown of how I did it. If you want to see it all, go back to the videos. Like I said, towards the end, things were getting short. Just wasn't filming that much. Just a little bit here and there. You know, when you're in a mad rush, it's just hard to think about turning on that camera. So let's go through it. I'm going to work top to bottom of the pieces of this costume. Up first, we've got the hood. I really like this hood. It's black exterior, red on the inside. Just gives it kind of nice look. You can see there are pleats in here to match the reference pictures. One thing that's a little bit different from my hood to the reference photos is that the reference photo has a 1-inch strip here where the pleats stop before that. I didn't do that. I love this thing. I mean, it's a good hood. The shape is perfect. So the one thing I did is it's got snaps. You can see these are like some heavy duty snaps, and I had those on the top and bottom. And the top one pulled right out. It's too much pull that was on the material. So these are just open ring snaps. That's what I should have done. While the ring shows, yes. Is it close to open out? No. So you can see that's the bottom end of the heavy duty one. And you can see the open ring one, which is a little bit smaller. Should have done that top and bottom. It does show, whatever. The mask, it is one of my favorite parts, one of my least favorite parts. So I took just a skull, plastic skull, bought off Amazon, cut it up, cut the back off, cut the bottom off to fit my face. I actually split it. It kind of wires right through here, goes through each eye to make each one wider because it just wasn't wide enough to even fit my head. These are sunglasses lenses inside. The visibility on this mask is great. Like, you look at it, you can see there's a little bit of light behind it now. When it's on, you cannot see through the lens. It looks really dark. I painted a gloss around it, just kind of highlights, so it all kind of blended. I love how it came out. Painted it, you know, it just looks great. So the mask, you can see it sticks out quite far. It probably should angle down a little bit more, curve more. I just having trouble getting that shape right, and this is what I ended up with. And it looks like a bird. It looks like a bird, and I don't like that. Part of that is because you have this thin strip coming down that peaks, kind of looks like an old plague doctor type thing. I don't know, man. I took some liberties with the bottom half of the mask. I was trying to get it to do something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I could have done differently. Probably working the shape a little bit more. I mean, because it got a little bit of space between the end of my face and the mask. Probably too much. Especially, and then when I glued it to the skull, it kind of, you can see it kind of slants up a little bit. Just had some trouble. This is speaker grill I cut and painted. I really like how that came out. You can see, got a bit short right here. And that is just hot glued. That's just some black fabric on the inside, hot glued. Lenses are hot glued. Elastic strap, contact cement to it. So I love it and I don't love it, man. I just wish it looked a little bit more like my reference photos. But time was running out and I needed something done. And this was something. I mean, these shapes kind of mimic the reference. These I added on just so it had a little bit of character. I wanted to weather it. That would have, you know, some darks and some highlights would have helped this. Didn't get to it. But overall, I like it, but I do hate it looks like a bird. I've had multiple people say, oh, it looks kind of like a bird, and that's just not what you want to hear. So this is the undershirt, the underpinning of the costume. And unfortunately, I really love it, and you can't really see it. It's got the red, because you know, you've got the red, which is basically a G. This doesn't really look like a G, it's just red material there. The sleeves, my arms aren't scorpion size, so I put sleeves on it. I did this diamond stitch pattern. I did red stripes underneath the arms. I just think that adds kind of nice effect in the costume. I really like how this came out. This has the open ring snaps in it. You can see, if I can find it, you can see the open ring snaps right here. I do have a safety pin because I put one of the snaps in the wrong spot. So like the collar kind of hangs down a little bit, it needs to be pulled up, so I have a safety pin for that. And overall, I really like this. You just don't see most of the work when I'm wearing this, but I love the red, the black, the stitching, all of it. It came out really nice. I was surprised that my sewing came out as well as it did on this. Scorpion's Tabard, probably the most identifiable, iconic piece of Scorpion costuming, is his yellow tabard. It came out well for the most part. There are definitely some issues with it that are of my making. You also, if you're familiar with the reference photos, you know there's like some striping, some more striping, additional striping on this thing that I don't have because I ran out of time. So the inside this is just leather. It's 2 inches wide. Just fold it over and sew into it. Creates a nice edging. So the other side, from the reference photos, it looks very thin. So I had 1/4 inch leather. I was trying to fold over. You can see right here, I was trying to fold it over and sew it. That got a little difficult to where I transitioned to just sewing it right to the edge. There's no, doesn't fold over. Half inch. Half inch was too small. This should have been 3/4 inch, if not bigger, so I could fold it over easily. I was having trouble, because also this material, the edge of it, is kind of frayed, so it's hard to get bite with a thread when you're right on the edge like I was. So I wish that was better, but I just did not have time to re-dye leather to try to get that right. I mean, overall, I like it. I love the pattern. It's kind of a upholstery type material. Just, it looks cool, man. It came out well. I wish I had some of the additional striping and stuff, but it was never going to happen once we got down to the end of it. These shoulder pauldrons, these might be my favorite part of the costume. I love how they came out. So this is just EVA foam. You know, it's the floor mat stuff. You can see it's got the pattern to the bottom. Cut it, angled it, so you kind of get an angle. This is real leather. All my leather on this costume is real leather. I've got straps going across. They're just contact cemented in. I've got little rivets. Now, the reference photos have double rivets here. There have been 40 rivets total for this thing, and I don't have that many rivets, so I was just doing one. I think it looks completely fine. This is just cotton rope that I unbraided, did a 3-strand braid. Then I split the ends to where I split the 3 strands, and so I had 6 strands. Then did 2 different 3-strand braids, did the loop, did the tassels, and that is pretty much exactly how the reference photos are. And it came out really nice. I'll show you the back side. You got a leather strap going across. In the front, there's a ring, and there's just Velcro on one side, so I can put this on and off. I like this thing a lot. The rivets, they came brown. I didn't paint them or anything. If they were silver, they would have been left silver. But this just sits right on my shoulders, and so I fit it to me. I glued an additional piece of craft foam on the inside to help hold that curve, because the craft foam, it wants to straighten out, so you need some reinforcement. This thing's awesome. I really do like it. You know, you put it on, you just kind of feel like strong, you feel like Scorpion, so it works out well. So these are just like shoulder armor. It fits on the shoulder right here. It's, in the reference was it hangs off the pauldrons. It just, for however mine works out, the straps would be really long. I didn't think it would stay in place, so I created it so you could just Velcro it around my arm, and then stick to it, just Velcro around the arm, stick in place. Well, Velcro is too long, so I'm gonna have to cut this down, shorten it to actually work. But this is, again, it's craft foam, pop some rivets in there, just leather, D-rings. Like the look of it. Didn't wear it last night because, again, it's so loose. It was sliding down my arm, didn't look right. So that is one of the things I'm gonna have to work on. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna work on after wearing it. The bracers, I mean, they came out nice. Again, EVA foam, that's what I use. This is leather strapping. So I got these tri-glides, and my thought was I could run it through there and then kind of pull it tight. You really need 2 hands to do that, so that makes it, I really can't tighten it up myself. It's difficult. I did use webbing on the inside so the wrist part folds. That way I can actually move my wrist a little bit. For some reason, these things, they want to like roll to the outside of my arm. I kept having to adjust them, and they wanted to ride up and adjust them down. Don't quite know the fix for that. I mean, maybe if you put some kind of like grippy fabric or something on the back, I don't know. I don't plan to do anything with these. I'm wondering, you know, do I cut the leather straps, or rather glue Velcro to it so I can just Velcro it tight instead of these tri-glides? So these tri-glides, they just don't work. I will have to cut up some stuff if I do that. Probably not going to do that. I'm kind of done with it. You know, once you kind of hit the deadline and I'm there, I'm done. I mean, last week I've been thinking about Halloween next year, what I want to do. That always changes. The belt. This thing was it was a chore. This is real leather. I really like how this pattern came out. My leather, the black and red, it did shrink in different ranges, so I had to kind of pull it and stretch it. It's just duct taped on the back. I did one big square, cut the pattern out so everything would match up perfectly. That was my intention. Of course, they shrink at different rates, so it's a little bit different. These have tri-glides. These are a little bit easier to do because you can get 2 hands on the belt. When you're one arm, you can't. So one big issue I had is I had to shorten the whole belt because it's just too long. These straps, they are wanting to unglue. That is an issue I've had in a lot of places where straps want to pull out. So one way to reinforce that, I'm going to take craft foam. I'm just going to contact cement, go across. That's going to be a little bit of reinforcement so it doesn't want to pull off, so I can get it to fit tight. And of course, with the belt, you have the belt buckle. And the belt buckle, it's got another, I've called these things towels. I don't know what they are. I wish I knew their real name because towel just seems kind of flippant. So I created this kind of sleeve so it would slide over the belt. My thought was it would slide over the belt and I could pull it over the tri-glides to hide all that. Well, this sleeve I sewed a little tight so it doesn't really move that much. And it's just tough to get the tri-glides on with this in the way because this doesn't slide all the way off of it or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all 3 of these and I'm going to sew an additional piece of polyweb onto it, put Velcro on it so I can just kind of Velcro the straps in there, and that'll make that a little easy. You see, I left this brown. I started this belt, all the pieces were brown. I was going to dye it black. Brown didn't dye at all, so I had to recut it all out of black. I was just trying to conserve because I was running out of leather, and so that's that. And really, I probably, you can see there's some space. I probably need to glue it right in there to help hold shape, so I probably will do that as well. That is the belt. The belt looked cool. I mean, like, those leather pieces look really neat, add a nice dynamic to the costume. So I just need to do that. Because, I mean, I think the first time, I think it took me 20 minutes to get this belt on, trying to get these tri-glides tight while dealing with the belt that won't slide, belt buckle that won't slide all the way, one way or the other, to get out of my way. A mess. So I do have knee wraps. Scorpion does have knee wraps, and these, I just took some scrappy yellow I had, and I've got Velcro just on one end. So I start with this, wrapping around the bottom of the knee, wrap it around, it says tension fit, and then when you get around to the end, these two pieces of Velcro, they touch, and that was completely sufficient. With the knee armor, it all kind of stays in place. Now, if I was not wearing knee armor to keep a little bit of tension on this, it probably won't slide down. My knee is what it is. So my clamshell knee armor, it does make walking a little bit difficult. This back comes up kind of high, which just makes bending your legs a little bit difficult. There's just polyweb strapping on the inside, polyweb strapping and Velcro on the inside. Now, I didn't really have to reinforce this polyweb, and it seemed to do okay just with the nature of these things. The Velcro was wanting to come off, some adhesive, so I don't think it was this one. I think it might have been this one, where, let's see. Yeah, on one of them I had, like, the strapping was wanting to come up, the Velcro was wanting to come up, so I need to re-glue all that. And let's see, what else we have? The shoe armor. So this just slips right over my shoe. This goes over the toe. This goes over the heel. This is elastic. And on one of them, of course, the strapping was wanting to come off. So the easy fix there is just some craft foam. Just go across the joint onto the foam, because contact cement and craft foam glues together really well. It's elastic. Stretching, it just kind of wants to pull away from the material when it's glued. So that is something I need to work on. So this rope, it wraps around the clamshell. So you've got this ridge here, if it's right above the ridge, if it's just below this flare. And I just tied it, just a kind of simple, I don't know what the knot's called, it's a simple knot, tension tied. Did have one that kept wanting to fall off, because you can see this rope has unraveled, and so I need it kind of tight braid. It'll help it keep tied, because these braids kind of pull against each other, a little bit of tension. So I'm just going to put some hot glue in the middle of the rope, and then hold the braid tight so it kind of holds shape. I mean, there's probably something more I could do to where this works better. Maybe like just some Velcro on the 2 pieces. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably just going to hope for the best. I might could just take a string or twine, or not twine, fishing line, and just tie it to keep these things together. I may do that. Scorpion's chain in Kunai. I like the sound of this. It's completely worth it to get real chain. Now this is just the galvanized stuff you would get at the home improvement store. I did have it sandblasted. If you don't know somebody sandblaster, don't know what to tell you. That really helps. So it's a very kind of gray steel color, and kind of, I think you can see some variations in that. I just put it on the floor on paper, spray paint it black, wipe the black off, so it gives it a mottled, kind of dirty looking appearance. Definitely help it. When it's just gray, it just never looked right. The Kunai, the spear. I made this spear in 15 minutes. That's from 0 to painted and done in 15 minutes, and I left 2 minutes after that. So it is just 8-inch plywood. I just cut my shape. It's the same shape both ways, and so I notched it, so one slides in from the top, one slides into the bottom. You can see it's a little offset on the bottom, so I could put, that's just a piece of plastic chain. I wanted to work plastic chain in this costume. I didn't. Painted it gray, then kind of mixed it with black, just so it'd have a little bit of a mottled appearance. From far away, it looks fine. It doesn't quite have the weight, but I mean, really, all in all, I like how it worked. I mean, I was really hoping to make something nicer. Again, this was 5 minutes. This was done 5 minutes before I left. Took me 15 minutes because you gotta have the Kunai for Scorpion. I'm not trying throwing it. I don't think it throws very well. Yeah, it doesn't throw very well. So I just wrapped this around my arm and just walk around like that. I was looking for maybe a way to kind of hook it to itself, you know, because I've got a link that I cut, and I was thinking I could just put one end and put one end of that cut link in here and hook another one, kind of tension fit around my arm. Didn't have a chance to figure that out. I don't even know where that link went. I had it somewhere on my desk trying to figure that out. I'll have to look for that, see if that'll work. Because it'd be nice just to where I could not have to wrap it, and it comes unwrapped and all that. So for most of the night last night when I was doing the test run, you know, big entrance, had to just wrap around my arm, just kind of tension fit like that, and then I was done. So it'd be nice if it would work better. Bought all this plastic chain, wanted to do something with it, thought I'd do something with it. I didn't. At one point, you know, my hope at one point was that I was going to kind of have it wrapped around the belt. Right, like go through these loops and just kind of have it as a secondary piece to the belt. Well, these I had to glue down, just, you know, this piece and this piece are separate. They don't go all the way through, so you're just seeing the foam through there, so I had to glue it down. At one point I thought I might have it wrapped around the leg armor. At this point, it's not painted, it's not prepped, it's not anything. I think I'm going to have to call that one done. Maybe I'll work chain into another costume. A costume I'm thinking about next year, I might have to work chain into that. I mean, the thing is, if you do plastic chain, because you hear it, it doesn't sound right. You hear real chain, that just sounds so good. So my plan with Scorpion is always to have the real chain for the Kunai, and then work that plastic chain in so you still got that sound. Because I mean, I love that sound. It just sounds kind of creepy because that's what it's all about. And so these were the pants. I did buy the pants, and I searched ninja pants, and these came up. They are ninja / yoga pants. You can kind of see the leg flares. You know, you always see Scorpion the pants flare, so this does that. It's got the cording to tie up the inside of the leg. And they work great. The reference photos do have some like piping or leather strips going down there. Didn't have time to sew that in. Nothing I had to abandon. But I mean, overall, these work great. Save me a lot of time. And then the shoes. So these are probably, after the mask, my second biggest disappointment. I bought these first. I was just looking for black, nondescript shoes that kind of made me think ninja. And so these are wrestling shoes. Well, I really wish I just bought... If I had to do it now, I bought these. These are the first thing I bought. I was just looking for something cheap for shoes, because shoes can take up a big part of the budget, you know, like a single item as far as that goes. And if I had to do it now, if I was doing it in the end, I would have bought the ninja shoes that have the, it's the square toe where the big toe is split, so you have kind of square, it dips in, then you have the rest of the toes. That just looks like a ninja shoe, because that's what it is. And so I wish I had done that. I'm not going to buy a second pair of shoes. Like, the budget for this thing just went a little higher than I wanted, not by much. I think I spent all in all maybe like 150, 160, which is about on par with my Halloween costumes. What helps is that a lot of stuff I already have. I already have a lot of paint, a lot of foam. I did have to buy some more floor mats because I just ran out. And I think I buy floor mats like every 4 years. You know, a pack of 4 will last me a long time because I only make a costume at Halloween. So that is that. I mean, I will, after this year's costume, I'm going to have to restock on pop rivets because I used a bunch in this costume, like completely depleted my reserves. I need to buy some more Velcro, because the Velcro, it's adhesive backed, and that adhesive, well, the contact cement is stronger, so invariably that adhesive will delaminate when I have contact cement, and you can't sew through the adhesive backed Velcro because it gums up the needle. Also, I'm going to get the little open ring snaps for the clothing. Ran out of those, which I only used 6 this year. I didn't have many to begin with. I'm going to restock on that. I think this is walked through all the pieces of the costume. I will get you a video of me putting this costume on and just kind of that whole process so you can see what it's like. Before I do that, I'm going to reinforce everything and get this, like, I'm done with it. I'm mentally done with it, but I do need to reinforce some things because there's some pieces that are falling off that I'd like to get the full real deal. Every year in the Halloween costume, I do try to find like a cool location to do like a mini photo shoot. It's nothing elaborate, it's just me with a camera on a tripod. I would like to do that. I don't know, like around this area, I don't know a good spot for Scorpion. I'm going to need to look at some of the Mortal Kombat levels / dungeons and see what's cool, because I'm just limited by what's in the area I'm at. So with this rope that has come unbraided, I mean, it's never going to look perfect and good, but basically I've just been opening it up, putting some hot glue in the center, twisting it back and kind of holding it, letting the glue dry. You can see it looks better. It does not look great. I'm kind of like looking for a spot so loose. You can see where this is loose. So when it's loose like that, I'll just put a dab of hot glue, try to get it in the middle there, twist it back shut, hold it. If there's any excess, I'll dab it away. Try not to use your bare finger. This glue is like the extra hot Super Duty glue gun, so it gets really hot. Good way to burn yourself. Hold it, and then it'll help it hold shape a little bit better. Now, I did have an issue with these things. This one especially. This one fell off a couple times during my test run. The other one did not. I think it's just because these, you know, there's no tension there. With this, when you have these good ribs, these ribs kind of prevent sliding. Probably a design thing. So I was thinking, like, what can I do with this? Because I don't want to do too much. But what I might do is just glue it. Let's see. That's inside of the leg. I had the knot tied on the outside. I think I'm just going to put a dab of hot glue, maybe here, and maybe on the back side too, because, you know, the thing, like, it's still wrong side. I don't know, opposite side. I don't know if I can do that. I guess I can only do a dab of hot glue on the front. If I do it around the back, it's going to prevent me from opening it, because my knot is on the outside. So I'll just do it do that on the front side. That'll hold it together, so even if it comes undone, I'm not going to lose it. It's not going to be on the ground somewhere as I walk away. I think that's just going to help hold it in place, make it a little bit easier. I'll figure that one out. So now I'm going to cut some craft foam for reinforcing. You can see I've already done it here. I've just cut a piece of craft foam that'll fit that corner. So when I glue the elastic band back, I'll just go over, and that should give it reinforcement. Hopefully it works. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when I do the real deal tonight. Like these, I mean, I wore this one all night. It worked fine, so that reinforcement should help. I mean, you can see that one's on their side. I don't know why that one didn't pull off. These look good, so they may not even need reinforcement. I mean, look at that. I'm pulling on that. It looks great. So it may just been poor glue application. Who applicated that glue? It must have been me. All this seems fine. I don't know if I need to reinforce it. I am going to anyway. Just, you know, walk and push and pull. I've got all these pieces cut. Make things a little bit easier, a little bit better, so I don't have to worry about it. You know, you can see this. I just need a piece of craft foam going across. So I'm just going to cut the foam, and that's just me holding the foam up to it, cutting the outline, and rolling. So I've glued in all my reinforcements. You can see here that should help these things stay. You know, the perpendicular reinforcement, this wants to pull up. This is going to keep hold it down. So I've done that to a bunch of different pieces. I think, hopefully it's good. I mean, it should be better than it was last night when I wore it. So hopefully we'll have a good result. I did split the belt buckle. So I'm going to just cut the seam so I wouldn't have to re-sew or lengthen this. So I just cut it at the seam. I'm going to glue Velcro on each side. So we should be set. So I just put the armor on it, tied it real quick, just figure out, all right, where's it need to be? So I'm going to put 3 dips of hot glue and just hold this thing in place. So in case it does come untied, it's not going to fall off. I'm not going to lose it. Look at that, done and done. So that way, even if it comes untied, it's not going to drag the ground, it's not going to fall off, I'm not going to lose it. And that was the thing. Like last night, I had a concern that one of the pieces I lost, so I had to go back outside and figure out where did this rope go. I found it, which was good, because if I lost it, it's just done. It just wouldn't happen anymore.